everybody. Thanks for hopping on for our Mornings with Miller on November 5th. We're going to do our We Care information session today. And definitely use the chat today because I think we're going to ask a couple of questions about people in participation. And let us know, have you participated in We Care before? I guess is the first question. I'd love to know that first. And then also, are you interested in doing it this year? So we'll talk through that. So there's some new branding on We Care this year, but we're going to talk today about the Philadelphia We Care for 2020. So like all things 2020, We Care is going to look a little different this year, knowing that with COVID, the Boys and Girls Club is still open. They're still actively taking kids in and doing schoolwork with them and, giving them a place in their neighborhood to go. They're not having any guests from outside come in. And so in order for us to do something with the kiddos, we thought about creating, and this is something we're doing corporate wide, doing craft kits to go. So for the kiddos. So thinking about how it's going to look a little bit different, contactless We Care event is the theme this year. So is everybody familiar with what We Care is? Maybe I'll go over a little bit of what it is. So We Care is a corporate-wide Herman Miller sponsored event where we partner with Boys and Girls Clubs in each cities that Herman Miller is in, and we do a holiday craft, let's say like late afternoon after school program. And so what they do is the kids come in and they travel from table to table and create craft, whether it's a gift for somebody in their family or something for them to take. There's usually pictures with Santa. But it's really just a way that we can communicate with our community and give back to our community. And the kids seem to really like it. And this will have been my 5th year. And I've seen some of these kids grow up. They remember you from the years before. And it's something that's really fun to do. We also started doing one in the spring for like right before Mother's Day to do Mother's Day gifts and like spring crafts, but we had to cancel that this year due to COVID. So this way we're going to do, more of a holiday based We Care event. So let's talk about some of the parameters. So we're still crafty. We're not going to take the crafts away, but we're going to build craft kits to go. So we're thinking that, we know that everybody usually prepares about kits or crafts for about 100 to 120 kids, because that's typically how many we see. We know that the number is going to be a little bit different. It's hard to ask individuals or groups to say, hey, create 120 craft kits. So we're looking for, maybe craft kits of 20 or 30, whatever you can provide. And we're going to distribute them evenly through different gift bags that we'll give to the Boys and Girls Club for them to give to the kids. One of the things that's really important about this is that we are not going to be there to help them. So thinking of keeping the kids in mind when you're coming up with your craft. So simple is best. Typically the kids that we see range from 5 to 13. Think about that when you're working on, the craft that you're designing for the children. Think about how you're going to communicate how it works for them. There's tons of ideas for crafts, and there's a Pinterest board that we made that we can share with you about some of the easier things, different age groups, different skill sets, and stuff that's a little bit less expensive to do. We know the pandemic has hit people differently, but we're definitely going to share that with you. And again, easy peasy. Think about something that can be done with very little supervision. Make sure you create all the materials for at least one craft. Make sure the instructions are super clear. So if you have kids, you probably understand at a certain level, or you had been around a lot of children, that trying to get instructions to little ones who can't exactly read all the words, it's probably important to do more pictures. They said to follow, look at what Lego does when you put together Legos. It's a pretty clear understanding of what the steps look like. Look at something like that when you're thinking about how the craft goes together. And then bag or box all the materials that you want for your craft. So think about the presentation for the kids. It's a good question, Alex. We're going to come to that too. So this is just an example of something I had found on Pinterest. It's a pretty simple, there's a Play-Doh. Obviously you put the Play-Doh out, you make the tree, you add the little things to the tree. It's a Play-Doh Christmas tree. So, not so crafty. We'd like to incorporate some small snacks or gifts with the We Care bag. So if you don't want to create a craft, we're thinking about donating things like art supplies, markers, glue sticks, crayons. So that's your question there. Or clothing. I'm thinking hats, gloves, mittens. Something I added to another communication that's going to go out a little bit later today is masks. So if there's a way for you to get some access to masks for children, obviously people have to still wear those. And then think about like non-perishable items, juice box, granola bars, trying to stay on the air of away from nuts and things that are a little bit more allergy inappropriate, but thinking the other things that we can put in there. So Alex asked the question, will they have supplies like glue available, or should they think about providing or donating to the Boys and Girls Club? So I think when it comes down to if your glue is one of your main things, we'd love to maybe have glue sticks available to the kids, but just thinking for your craft, what we can do that they could get everything they need in one package to build their thing. But I would love to, if somebody wants to donate markers, glue sticks, crayons, that kind of thing, just thinking about what each craft kit would be great for the kids. So lastly, when is this all happening? So when putting this together, looking at the calendar, I'm thinking our last date to do a drop, and we have to figure out where they're being dropped off if we're doing a pickup. We haven't really decided that yet. But basically we want to drop off. We're going to do a drop off by December 11th or a pickup. And we're going to have them distributed to the Boys and Girls Club early in the week of December 14th. So that gives them like 10-ish days before the holidays to get these out to the kids. And think about what they're going to be doing in that time. We're not sure where the schools are going to be at that point. We don't know if schools will be, I know Philadelphia is talking about doing hybrid learning, if the kids will be hybrid learning. Some of the kids are doing class out of the Boys and Girls Club. So there's a lot of different things and places where they may make these crafts, whether they're going to bring the kids home with them or they're going to do them there on site at the Boys and Girls Club. So think about the best mobility, think about the timing that this will be getting to them December 14th week. So think about all that stuff when it comes to the kids. Any questions, comments? Is it anybody's first time being part of We Care or first time hearing about it?
It's mine, Sam. I didn't know about this, but it seems really cool.
Yeah, it's we've done it every year. It's usually, so the couple things is normally it's like been a firm, right? So it'll be like, Telsa, it would be, Kosha Moose would come in and they would have a team of people doing craft. But in the last couple of years, we've had basically like who work at different firms coming together and becoming like a group of people to do this. So this year when I was doing and I'm actually going to I have a landing page for more information about it and put that in the chat. When we're talking about groups, we're thinking, some people are in pandemic pods. Some people they have, their families that they're with all the time. All different kinds of people come together. So if you're at a firm working with your friends at work, you can do this together, thinking about your social distancing. If you are in a group of, you have a group of people that you always pod with and you guys drink wine together, creating craft kits one night would be something you guys could do. Just thinking about, spending some of the time to give back to the community. And we want to acknowledge everybody's hard work. So there is in the sign up sheet that's going to go out around 10 today. It's basically what's your name, what's your group, how many kits do you think you can put together for us? What are you thinking about putting together? And we want to acknowledge you. So like, what's your Instagram handle? We want to let the Boys and Girls Club know that, whether it's a firm or a group of people, that you guys contributed your time and your energy and your money towards this. So We Care has been something that has brought me a lot of joy the past few years. And I know I'm kind of sad that we can't do it, but I think this is a really nice way to get it together. And works, take pictures when you're putting your kits together and hashtag, Herman Miller Cares and all of that stuff. So we're really excited to get people together to do it. Any questions, comments?
Sam, what are some ideas to help me since I haven't done it before. Like what's
Sure.
been done in the past?
Let me actually, I pulled together a little Pinterest board last night just because I knew that this was going to be a question that came up. So let me grab the board and share it in the chat. It's typically a craft that a child can make, and usually we help them. There we go. We usually try to help them create the craft, and we sit with them, and a bunch of different things we work on. But this, I went to our thing. Okay. But I think this year it's going to be a little bit more. We have to make sure that the crafts are easy for the kids to do, either with very little supervision or by themselves. Because if they're at the Boys and Girls Club, it would be with counselors, but we don't know what their situations are at home. So they may have all of it, or they may not have some, brothers and sisters helping them, or just doing it by themselves. So just thinking about, I put it in the chat, a couple different things, and it doesn't have to be holiday related. It could be something that they keep in their house or something that brings them joy. Just think about the age groups. So like that 5 to 13-ish range of kids that are, building something that they could do on their own, something they could be proud of when they're done.
And just keep in mind, usually it doesn't have to be, but it's meant to be like gifts for their family members.
Yeah.
The other thing too is that at least I generally work the wrapping paper room the last few years, and the kids seem to get really excited about putting bows on envelopes or even wrapping cards in envelopes for their family members. So, but they don't have a lot of experience with it. So maybe if I know that you showed bags with tissue paper in it already, or if there's bows that have easy removal stick backs, they want to wrap everything. And it's also, the children are from different faiths, from, challenged socioeconomic backgrounds. So having something for different kinds of family members, and non-traditional families seem to be really helpful.
That's a great point, Alex. And even sometimes it's funny, some of the kids were making gifts for people at the Boys and Girls Club who they're close to, which was very sweet. Any other questions or comments? So no. So I put in the chat not only the Pinterest board, but there's like a page with a lot of the information on it. At 10 o'clock, there's an email scheduled to go out to everybody on this list with some more We Care information, just to get people signed up and get some interest around it. And then I'm sure you'll hear from me or Robin in the next probably in that next week, saying, hey, are you interested? Do you want to be part of this? And, any contribution helps. So if you can make like 10 craft kits, or you can make 100 craft kits, whatever it makes sense for you guys. We're leaving it really open, just as long as we have. My goal is I would love to have at least 2 craft kits per child. So that means we have a goal of like probably $250 for the craft kits. I mean, for crafts. But if we can get more than that, that would be awesome. And our Herman Miller team, we haven't discussed yet what we're going to contribute, but I'm sure that we all have plans on things that we can do, whether it's the snacks or craft kits. I know Nicole Barnett's on here, and she is all about the crafts. So I know with something crafty.
I love the crafts. I'm already on Pinterest looking at additional crafts.
There's some awesome ideas on this board.
Yeah, just thinking about, some of us are really, like some of us come from artist backgrounds as designers, and we can make really intricate things, and it's really easy for us. But so I tend to get like bogged down with like, oh, look how complicated this thing is. But really thinking about what's a really nice way to make a really nice impact with the kids, make them feel successful and, special for the holiday season.
Yeah.
Especially now. Right now is like a a lot of kids won't be able to do the stuff they normally do. If they go to the mall and see, you know, Santa, they can't do that. I'd heard, and granted, I haven't been to a mall in a really long time, or honestly seen Santa in that long, but I heard that there's like a plexiglass situation where like you stand next to Santa with plexiglass.
Oh my God.
I was like, this is
That's sad.
So they're not going to be able to do those things. They're not going to be able to walk through the malls that are, you know, decorated, or go and do the things that even the Boys and Girls Club normally do with them. I know the one year, one of the Philadelphia Eagles came and took some of the kids shopping for Christmas, like all that kind of stuff that the Boys and Girls Club gets to do. It's going to be very minimal this year because of COVID. So anything that we can do to bring some joy and happiness, that's our goal.
Yeah, I like the idea of adding the wrapping paper and ribbon. That's really cool. Try to
Awesome.
incorporate that.
We'll have to add that to our communications.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it sounds exciting. I'm excited to think of some stuff. I already have some ideas, but I have to remember I have to write up instructions for it, so make it simple.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, is think like a child. What would be simple?
That's
or for
not a
your
problem.
least crafty friends. Well, and Mike and Valetti, those plexiglass Santa pictures are going to be priceless 20 years from now. Pretty accurate.
I think that about so many pictures I already just have from this summer. I'm like, wow, lots of pictures with masks on.
It's going to be an interesting time in history looking back.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for joining. Looks like we're 10 minutes early, which is great. If you guys have any questions, reach out to Robin or me, and we can, you know, answer your We Care questions. But you'll get an email in probably the next 10 minutes about all the We Care stuff that we just talked about, and just ways to sign up. The sign up sheet is really easy. It also does not tie you down to a craft right away. Because you don't know, but you do want to contribute. So if you have an idea, you know, definitely let us know. If you're still, you know you want to be part of it, but you're not sure what you want to do yet. Just giving us a heads up about how many kits we can expect is kind of where we're headed. So.
And Sam and Robin, the only thing that we could ask is if there's things that you see that we need or that the children need as you get closer, could you let us know? Because, you know, if it's a, you know, candy cane or, you know, bottles of water or snacks or something for, you know, the holiday that morning for their family, just let us know, because I'm sure, you know, there's a bunch of us that would like to do any last things that you need.
No, for sure. And one of the reasons we ask what craft that you're doing is so that every once in a while there's a duplicate, and we want to make sure, in this case, not everybody, if we have duplicates, it'll probably work out because we'll be able to put, you know, 20 in one, and we'll be able to spread the joy throughout the children. However, when we do it in person, it's hard when there's two tables with exactly the same craft. And as designers and as people, we don't want to always share our idea and say like, well, they're also doing the snow globe. So we want to make sure that, you know, we'll let you know if there's any duplicate crafts, or if somebody already sent the idea in that was something that you wanted to do, just in case you wanted to switch it up. So we do make sure that there are not duplicates, but we also make sure that we are covering all the bases. So Alex will definitely keep that in mind. There was also a very cute page I found last night, which I'll probably add to the Pinterest, about ways to decorate things like bottles of water to put in. And it's simple as like adding a pipe cleaner and some eyes to a bottle of water to look like a reindeer, which is really fun. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. We're glad that you came. And then next week, let's go over that. Next week, Robin is going to go over inspiration boards through a program that we use called Scout, and how we, you know, are able to get some really good thought starters and some product to you guys quickly and efficiently and in a presentation format. And then the following week, I'm going to talk about the unassigned experience, and that's going to be around creating a successful workplace strategy. It's information that came out prior to COVID. However, we see a lot of people starting to talk about, if not everybody's coming back to work, how do we do this safely lot of really good key points in, and it's actually a book that Herman Miller has put out that we'll be able to talk about, and I can be able to get you copies if you guys come. So next week, we're going to talk about inspiration and lots of cool ancillary product and how we can get that to you, especially when we have thousands of options available. And then the following week is the unassigned experience. So we look forward to seeing you next Thursday and the Thursday after.